hands, y'all. Come on. We're going to take it back. We're going to bless the Lord. We're going to take it back. We're going to bless the Lord. We're going to take it back. We're going to bless the Lord. We're going to take it back. Hey, here we go now.
Let's go to Psalm 20 and 7. This is David, of course, and it reads as follows. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. So it was like, we know we need these chariots, and the horses would, their job was to get the chariot, of course, from one place to the other, but they actually embodied the strength of man. They resembled or represented the strength of man. But David was like, I don't care about the chariots. I don't care about the horses. We will believe in the power of God. And why do you think David would have said that? It's because David understood more than anybody the power of God's love for him, even in forgiving him. We read on Friday, we read Psalm 32, 33. We learned that was a sequel to Psalm 51. That was right in the midst of David messing around with Bathsheba and Uriah. But not only that, it was at the time when God was forgiving him for that sin. So David, knowing that God was a forgiver of his faults, he walked in that kind of power. Yes, he could explain to you that the chariots don't mean anything. They mean nothing. The power of man means nothing because it can't supersede the power of God. We have just read that the foolishness of God is greater than the wisest man. So it doesn't matter that Luke was a physician. It doesn't matter how much intelligence Moses had and even Solomon had. They did not, and they said Solomon was the wisest of them all. And he had so much wisdom, but his wisdom could not supersede God because it had to come from God. So I'm saying that to say this. Everything that you need to work in God's kingdom is already in you. All you have to do is ask God to release it. What you have to do is develop a relationship with God so that you can hear him talking to you. My daughter came into my office today and she was telling me about a dream she had, and the Lord had been dealing with me about her and her hearing from God. And I just asked her, I said, Sade, are you hearing God? And she answered to me, yes, it's not in a voice, but I do hear God, and it's more so in my conscience, but I'm not stupid. And I looked at her and I smiled and I was like, you know what? You are developing your spiritual inner ear to hear from God. That is a wonderful thing, being that she is so young and receptive to hear, because many times God will speak to us and we won't even listen to what he's saying. God, speak to me. God, speak to me. Not speak to me and tell me the things that I want to hear, because a lot of times we don't think God is speaking because he's not agreeing with what we want, or he's telling us to do something the opposite of what we want to do. He'll tell us to do some of the harder things. That's not wisdom. That's not hearing from God. Hearing from God is listening to what he's saying and then reacting with what he says instead of man. I think I said the other day, I hear what people say, but I listen to what God says.
Come on, lift those hands.